5 dangerous people every senior should keep away from. Warning. One day, a wise sage said, "The company you keep has the power to bring peace or steal your joy." Knowing who deserves a place in your life is one of the greatest acts of wisdom and self-love. This reflection caught my attention, and I believe it will resonate with you, especially if you're over 60. Or maybe you know someone in this age group who needs to hear this message. There are 5 types of people who can jeopardize your peace, your emotional health, and even your quality of life. And here's the surprising part. These people are often very close to us, sometimes even part of our own family. In today's video, you'll discover who these people are and why it's crucial to keep your distance. Stay with me until the end to understand how these profiles can harm your mental health and overall well-being, and, most importantly, how you can protect yourself. Before we begin, I want to welcome everyone. If you're new here, don't miss out. Click the subscribe button now, and then hit the bell icon. Choose all to activate notifications and make sure you never miss one of our videos, created especially for the physical, mental, and emotional health of people over 60. Picture this. You spend your time, effort, and love helping someone. Maybe you've cooked a special meal, offered advice, or simply been there when they needed you. But instead of gratitude, you get complaints, or worse, indifference. Have you ever felt that way? This is the kind of person we call the ungrateful. It's true that we often give out of love, without expecting anything in return. But living with someone ungrateful can deeply impact your emotional health. Psychologists specializing in aging emphasize that repeated experiences of ingratitude erode the joy of giving and, over time, can make you feel undervalued. Psychiatry studies show that this can lead to discouragement, lower self-esteem, and even depression. Ungrateful people can make you feel like your contributions don't matter, even when you've given your best. This is particularly dangerous in your later years, when emotional vulnerability is higher and meaningful connections matter more than ever. Being around someone like this can slowly drain your happiness and the joy of being with others. But the ungrateful isn't the only one who can steal your peace. There's another type of person who's often harder to spot and even more challenging to deal with. Can you guess who it is? Stay tuned, and let's find out. If you're enjoying this content, let me know in the comments. Type 10 if you think we're on the right track, or 1 if you believe there's room for improvement. And don't forget to give it a thumbs up. This way, YouTube knows that this video is valuable to people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Have you ever felt like you were carrying the weight of someone else's choices, as if they were your own? Some people always seem to live in a state of chaos, whether it's financial problems, poor decisions, or personal conflicts, and they end up pushing those burdens onto you. That's what we call the irresponsible. The irresponsible is dangerous because their lack of accountability often turns into an emotional weight, and in many cases, even a financial one, for those around them. They disrupt your peace and can even make you doubt yourself for not being able to help them. But it's important to remember that supporting someone doesn't mean taking on the consequences of their actions. Setting boundaries and allowing the irresponsible person to face the results of their own choices is crucial, not just for your well-being, but for their growth as well. But the irresponsible isn't the only one who can disrupt your peace. There's another profile, one that's far more subtle and emotionally draining. Stay with me, and you'll understand exactly who I'm talking about. Some people have an uncanny ability to turn any conversation into a story about themselves. It doesn't matter how important what you have to say might be, they always find a way to shift the focus to their own experiences. Have you ever felt that way? That's the narcissist. The narcissist is dangerous because their relentless need for validation and attention leaves you feeling invisible. This kind of relationship can take an emotional toll, especially in your later years, when your stories and connections become even more meaningful. Living with a narcissist means giving up true emotional exchange, and no one should settle for being a spectator in their own life. Remember, your voice and your experiences matter. Setting boundaries is the first step to reclaiming your sense of self. And speaking of emotional challenges, the next profile is especially common but no less harmful. Don't go anywhere, because identifying this type is essential for protecting your mental health. Now, picture being around someone who seems to find fault in everything you do. Whether it's a comment about your choices, your appearance, or even how you spend your time, This person always seems ready to point out what they think you're doing wrong. Have you experienced this? That's the critic. Before we move on to the last two profiles, it's important to remember that identifying these behaviors isn't about judging or criticizing anyone. Instead, it's an essential step toward understanding how to handle these situations better and protecting not just our own emotional health, but also the well-being of the loved ones around us. When we start to realize how these individuals can impact our peace of mind, everything begins to make sense. It's about choosing peace, setting boundaries, and valuing our own stories and experiences. Stay with me, because these last two profiles are crucial in this journey of self-care and emotional protection. The critic is dangerous because their words, often disguised as help or advice, plant seeds of doubt and negativity. They can undermine your confidence and make you question yourself, even after a lifetime of accomplishments and successes. But remember, the critic's judgment says more about them than it does about you. Filter their words and protect your emotional space. Your freedom and authenticity should never be compromised by comments that don't add value. Still with me? If so, type still here in the comments. I'd love to know if this content is resonating with you. And thank you for spending your valuable time with us. It's truly wonderful to know that, in some way, we're contributing to your health and well-being. And now we've reached the most anticipated moment. So far, we've talked about profiles that can disturb your peace, but the last type is perhaps the hardest to recognize. That's because this person often hides behind a mask of care or affection. Stay with me, because this discovery is essential for your emotional health and for strengthening the connections that matter most. The last profile is the manipulator. This is someone who frequently takes advantage of your kindness and willingness to help, turning your gestures of love into obligations. It might be someone who makes you feel guilty for saying no, or who constantly prioritizes their own needs above yours, sometimes without even realizing it. The manipulator is dangerous because they use your emotions against you, breaking down your boundaries and draining your emotional energy. Psychologists highlight that this type of relationship can lead to mental fatigue, anxiety, and even social withdrawal, especially later in life, when we need support rather than excessive demands. Psychiatry also emphasizes that living under constant pressure to meet someone else's expectations can weaken emotional health, undermining self-confidence and independence. However, loving someone doesn't mean accepting behaviors that rob your peace. On the contrary, setting clear and healthy boundaries is a way to protect not only your own well-being, but theirs as well. Even Christian teachings show us that true love is built on mutual respect. The Bible reminds us of the importance of guarding our hearts. Proverbs 4 verse 23, which includes protecting our peace from unbalanced relationships. Saying no firmly but lovingly isn't a lack of compassion. It's an act of care and self-respect. Now that we've explored these 5 profiles, the ungrateful, the irresponsible, the narcissist, the critic, and the manipulator, it all begins to make sense. Recognizing these behaviors isn't about judging people. It's about understanding how they impact our lives. It's about learning how to protect ourselves and take better care of ourselves and those we love. If you've made it this far, congratulations. This shows your commitment to taking care of your emotional health and seeking a life that's more balanced and peaceful. I truly appreciate you spending your valuable time with us, and I hope this content has brought value to your life. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get notifications for our videos. And don't forget to share this video with 3 friends who are seniors to help spread important messages and contribute to the well-being of those we love. May God bless your journey and your relationships. Remember, you deserve to live your golden years with peace, love, and respect. See you next time, and thank you for being here with me.